What is up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It's a great night. We've got Ethan from Fish Anything and the owner of Mule Fishing Supply Company with us. How you doing, Ethan?
I'm doing all right. I'm gonna make it past my bedtime tonight, and I'm ready to talk about fishing. And I see a couple people have already joined us, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Yep. Looking good, looking good. So how you been, man? What's been up?
Well, it's I have to be honest with you. I'm really excited for this evening to talk fishing because last couple of weeks have been busy. Just like a lot of family stuff, just a lot going on, and I haven't really been fishing that much. So this will be a good way to kind of get me back in the mood to get back out there because things are looking good. Things are looking like I'll have a little bit more time soon. So hopefully that means I can get back out on the water. So this will be a good way to kind of get me pumped up.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I've been good. It's just life's been busy, man.
Excellent. Yeah, it's kind of been the same for me. A lot going on. We just on Friday took Quinn, Valerie's son, to James Madison for his sophomore year at the university.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, I had kind of tough, but yeah, it's been busy. And then I had I a lot of people don't know this about me. I lived in New Mexico for about 10 years, about 20 miles south of Hatch, New Mexico, which grows the best chili peppers in the world.
Oh, that's the
And
Hatch chili peppers.
yes,
I didn't know they
yep,
were. I didn't know they were named after where they're from. But I've heard quite a lot of things about those. I've
right,
seen them in grocery stores and stuff.
right. So on the way back from JMU, we picked up 50 pounds, roasted them up on Sunday, uh, and we've been eating the crap out of them. So we're both very fatigued.
Interesting. 50 pounds.
50
I don't know. I
pounds.
think I would get tired of peppers after like maybe 2 pounds.
Nah, not here, not here. Yeah, no,
All right.
it's kind of a staple of the diet around here. But yeah, it's been extremely busy. Oh, good. Valerie's saying, and by the way, River Rat, Ed, who else is in here?
Ramon.
Ramon's in here. Thank you for joining us. Valerie, thanks for saying that we're looking and sounding good. Yeah, like I was telling Ethan backstage that about a month ago I did a live stream and the audio was jacked up the entire time and nobody said anything in chat. I was just like, oh gosh. Yeah,
Yeah,
watching
I
after the
trust.
fact was
I trust
stressful.
they'll say something tonight if we have any issues.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
disclaimer. So if there's any issues, whether it's video or audio related, please comment below because it will help Barry out as he continues to build this thing up and learn more about the all the technology involved. I'm not an expert at any of this stuff, but it seems like Barry knows what he's doing, so I trust it'll be great.
Well, I'm doing my best. This the live streaming thing is obviously a little newer to me. But yeah, as far as the kayak fishing stuff, I aim to have the best audio and video that I possibly can do remotely. You know what I mean? Um, it's in fact, I did a live stream a couple of weeks ago about GoPros. Well, actually, a bunch of new cameras are coming out right now.
Hmm.
The DJI Action 4 just came out, and the GoPro should be out probably less than a month, the 12. And one of the things that John and I were talking about was with YouTube videos, you can have crappy video, but if you have crappy audio, people will click off immediately.
Sure.
Uh, Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's get into the fish stuff. One of the first things I want to do is share this screen and unclick that tab. Hit OK. All right, so this is something that people definitely need to see. This is the Mule Fishing website. And I see you're running out of purple.
Yeah. Well, those I've had them out for quite some time. You know, when I put limited time only in the title, that tells you that it's a limited time only. So
Right, right.
I am slowly running out of some of them, but that was always part of the plan. I never intended to keep them every day. So I believe there's still some 164ths, 180ths. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
180th, 164th, 332nd looks okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the 32s and the 16ths that are
yeah,
out.
that
The
makes
two
sense.
the two sizes that I most commonly use.
Well, you know, I tell you what, it's if I do limited releases, you know, it is just that. I would never do one and not give everyone a chance at it. And I feel like
Right,
I went pretty long on all that stuff. Like I bought a lot of them, or I had a lot of them in stock. And, you know, when they run out, they run out kind of deal. So
right, right, right.
there'll probably be more stuff like that in the future, though, more like limited type opportunities. So stay tuned.
Excellent, excellent. And by the way, that shirt rocks.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I had a couple samples done like when I was looking for a good shirt, and I really liked the material of this one, and I felt like the price was right, like to where I could still offer it for a decent price point. Like $35 is,
Yeah.
I feel, pretty fair compared to kind of what the market, you know, these type of things cost. And some of them are just they just get so expensive. So I was really pleased with this, and I feel like the quality is really solid.
Oh, it is. And the uh, sun protection 50 plus, and it's I can tell you, I was out there a few weeks ago in a soupy 90-degree, mid-Atlantic day, and yeah, no, it felt great. Tiny little breeze would come by, it'd dry right off. It,
Right on.
it was absolutely awesome.
Looks like Mark's in the chat. Hey, Mark. Hope you're doing well.
Ethan is touring with the big boys. Wait a second, who
I
are the
don't know
big
what he means
boys?
by that. I don't know what this means, but it's fine.
Does that I'm not the big boy, he's the big boy.
I don't know what it means. I'm just gonna let it ride. I sometimes some of these comments go right past me. I'm not the
Right.
sharpest tool in the shed, I guess.
All right. So, oh boy, what are we doing here? Let's see, remove this, just remove this. Pardon me. You were just saying something about me being good at this. There's
Oh, you're
that. There's that. There we go. Okay. So, um, for those that don't know, about a year ago, I was actually Valerie had a conference in Chicago, so I was going to kind of going to drive her there and go fishing around Michigan a bit. And Ethan and I tried to hook up, just couldn't make it happen. And then, as it turned out, I had a massive psoriatic arthritis flare, and I didn't end up going myself. So that sucked. But Ethan did a little bit of a tour in the rivers, or a river. What was the situation there?
so yeah, so yeah, I think a couple things. So Barry, as he alluded to, we've been trying to fish together if it ever works out. So whether that's if I'm ever in Maryland for whatever reason, which I don't foresee happening anytime soon, if I'm being honest with you,
Right.
or if he's ever in Michigan for any reason, like we would love to link up and fish. So Barry is obviously a big river smallmouth fisherman, and you'll see a lot of that on his channel. If you have not watched his videos already, you absolutely should. He does a lot of wonderful river smallmouth fishing.
Thank you.
Um, but anyways, recently I started what I call River Bronze, the Pursuit of a 20, which is a series dedicated to river smallmouth. So I have been hitting the rivers hard, or I really had been this spring and early summer. I haven't been out in a while, but I've really been focused on river fishing in my area, and with a main goal of just becoming a better smallmouth fisherman. But at the same time, like ultimately, I want to catch a 20 incher. So that's kind of like my end goal kind of thing, where it's like in order to get a 20 incher, I feel like you have to put in a lot of time and effort. And if you put in a lot of time and effort, you learn things. And that's how I see it. And that's the same thing that I did with bluegill. I did a pursuit of a 10, and my focus was catching a 10
Right.
inch bluegill. And I knew that that would not happen right away. And that was so intentional. Like I wanted to go through those experiences and become a better fisherman along the way. And I truly, truly feel like so much more confident in my bluegill like fishing skills now. And so that series alone, I have to credit to so much of my bluegill fishing techniques and skills. And so I figured by doing the same thing for a river smallmouth, the same thing will happen. So hopefully I catch a 20 incher eventually. But yeah,
How did you do in that series? What was your biggest?
well, it's not over. So I've done 5 videos, and I'm going to do more. I have not filmed anymore at this time. But as I mentioned, like as I get back to fishing, I'll film more, and I'll probably release them in kind of batches. It'll be like, hey, 5 videos here, and then I'll do another 3 or 4 whenever.
Right.
But so far, I think my biggest is like maybe 17 and a half. I've caught several anywhere from 16 to 17 and a half. No giants yet, but I've had a couple hooked that I would say probably were over 18.
Right.
And that's the way it goes. Like if you know smallmouth as well as I do, which I think you're probably knowing better than me, um, they are good at shaking a hook. It's what they do, man. They're a sport fish. Like they are a probably the one of the best freshwater sport fish out there. And
I I
yeah, they can
agree.
shake a hook. So
Yeah. I got addicted really, really quickly. The first couple of times, particularly river smallmouth.
yeah.
We've got a few reservoirs around here that hold them, and you can do absolute bang up jobs catching smallies all day long on some of these reservoirs, but they don't have the same spunk as those river smallies.
Oh yeah. No, I grew up in Kansas. Hence the Kansas shirt. You gotta show your love for where you're from. But I grew up in Kansas, so we had a lot of reservoir fishing. It was either like farm ponds, a few small lakes, or reservoirs. And we did have some pretty good smallmouth fishing in the reservoirs. And don't get me wrong, those fish are incredible and they fight hard too.
Yeah.
And another thing that Kansas has is a ton of wind, and I think that that kind of acts like current to an extent, but it's
Mm.
just not the same. Like you get a 13 to 14 inch smallmouth in a river, and you can be using a medium heavy rod, and they're still going to put up a fight
Oh
like a
yeah.
solid largemouth bass in a pond. So it's like
Right.
there's nothing built quite like a river smallie, and that's why I was super stoked to get the series started.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw you using a whopper plopper,
Hmm.
uh, that chartreuse one. I forget. Sooner, I believe, is the
I
name of
don't
it.
know the name of it.
Yeah, yeah. Next door neighbor Gary, who ends up in a lot of my videos. One of his best quotes is, as far as smallies are concerned, pick any color you want as long as it's chartreuse.
That's fair.
And yeah, it's a totally fair statement. I mean, we absolutely rocket on chartreuse in the mid Atlantic here. And on the cool thing about that, and it's kind of all aesthetics, and it probably really doesn't matter. But the cool thing about the purple jig head is that it matches up perfectly with Z-Man's Finesse TRD in. I, I don't think they call it Twilight. Yeah, no, they call it Twilight.
Oh, okay.
Twilight, Midnight Dawn, same thing. You have a similar color in some of your soft plastics, right?
Or like Dakota Sunrise is,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like the purple, who knows? Maybe the purple will come back in a small rotation someday. Well, I hope you stocked up enough, right, to get you by for a while. But
I've got some laying around. I was actually thinking about doing some of that for the giveaway, and I haven't mentioned that yet. God, we're almost 20 minutes in, and I haven't mentioned that yet.
it's all right.
So we're doing giveaways tonight. Anybody that comments, actually, we're not doing it tonight. We're doing it with this video. Anybody that comments in the chat, or if you're watching this on replay, make a comment in the comment section. That's one entry. It doesn't matter how many times you comment. Um, there's 3 things being given away. One of them is a pair of muleys right there. That's
Truce.
1/16 and 1/32. This will get you started in probably, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best Ned rig situations that you can be in. I use the 1/32 on the finesse TRD, and I use the 1/16 on the big TRD. And occasionally, when there's a little more current, I'll skip it up to 1/16 with the finesse if there's a little more current and it needs to drop a little faster. But the fall ratio on that setup is just awesome, and you'll absolutely love it. Another thing we got, Cotton Cordell Crazy Shad 3-pack. A really cool kind of finessey topwater bait. They come in at 3/8 of an ounce. So
Nice.
That's pretty cool. And then the last thing, a fresh black mule hat. So
I didn't know you had a fresh one. That I don't even
Yeah.
have one of those. You must have
Yeah.
held on to that for a while.
I have held on to it for quite a while, kind of in anticipation for this video that's here.
Pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet, honestly, because like there's no more of those out there that are like, and I don't think I'll do a plain black one again. So like, that's pretty sick. That's a sweet prize.
Well, then now that Ethan just said that, forget this. I'm keeping it. No, I'm kidding. It's going out. It's going out. So yeah, there's going to be basically 3 opportunities to get these, and what I'll be doing is a week from tonight, I'll be doing just a random YouTube comment picker thing, and there's a little box that you can check on it to where it only counts people once. You know, if you make 1,000 comments, it doesn't mean 1,000 entries or anything like that. So, but anyway, all right, on with the show. Let's take a look at an alligator.
All right.
I can remember how to do this. Exit media share. Okay. See, okay. All right, this is a little better. Okay. I shouldn't have even introduced it that way. Should have just surprised everybody.
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, because it starts out all mellow. Let's add a scene.
Oh, this is why I fish in Michigan.
This is actually why I have absolutely no desire to kayak fish in places like Florida and Georgia, and
I'm kind of scared right now. I'm gonna probably want to jump scare. What? All right, man. When is it gonna happen? You're making me sketched out.
That's what's beautiful there. You go.
Oh my god. Oh, it goes in there. Oh my gosh. This guy looks so shook.
Yeah, right. Look at Mark's comment. I hear banjos No kidding.
Oh man, no. See, like that's trippy. Like the fact that it literally like shot at him.
Yeah, it just kinda it it just kinda swiped at the kayak, and fortunately, he
Yeah,
got out of
it
it.
didn't just swipe, man. That thing was coming in hot.
Yeah.
So okay, I don't want to fish these rivers. I don't. I mean, I feel like that's a sad. Like that's the thing is like I definitely daydream of fishing in Florida a lot. Like I think about like fishing some of those canals for like the exotics. I just think it's interesting. I think it'd make for an interesting trip, right? Like going and catching like Oscars and like cichlids and peacock bass, and the list
Right,
goes
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
But in those types of areas, I feel like you're bound to step on a dang snake or somehow you find yourself around an alligator. Like that's weird.
That when I was a kid, my parents were divorced, and my father lived in Florida, so, every summer, my brother and I would go visit my father in Florida, and he had a boat, and he liked to take us out, at kinda Orlando-ish, it's called the St. Johns River,
Yeah.
and I don't think there was a single time that we went out there that we didn't see at least 20 gators, and
I mean, I feel like
I
they
can't
probably
imagine as an
mind their
ad
own business.
go ahead.
They probably mind their own business for the most part, but like this video alone would keep me out of rivers for weeks. like, like I would think that's probably like a one in a thousand, like in 10,000 gators, like one in 10,000.
Sure, sure, but God, isn't that enough? at least this guy, you can tell he has this is a kinda whitewater kayaker type guy. He knew how to flip the thing back over. Uh, in the stuff that we roll in, no, you're gonna get jump scared so badly that you're probably gonna tip it, and you're gonna be out of the kayak, and
I don't
who
know. Yes and no,
knows?
right? Like, I mean, if a gator came at me like that, I have no idea how I would react. That would freak me out, especially if you don't see it at all coming.
Right,
And that guy clearly didn't. And I
right,
had no idea where that was in the video. But my
right.
kayak is so much more stable than this guy's, and it's like so much bigger. And my question would be is like how I would love to talk to some people that actually kayak fish in Florida and like ask them what their experiences have been. Have they ever even had a gator mess with them? Like to me, I feel like the most likely situation that you would come across problematic gators would be you're landing a fish and it decides it needs a snack. And that would be where things could get dicey, I think.
Right, right. Yeah, because yeah, those fish flailing around. Yeah, it basically looks like gator bait.
I believe gators thoroughly enjoy eating bass, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, especially one that's clearly struggling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what is a Florida like. What is a gator in Florida like? What's their like main like diet consist of? I would have to imagine fish are a big part of it, right? Like so,
Yeah,
I
fish, ducks. Uh,
yeah. Small dogs.
yeah, small dogs. Disposed of bodies.
Geez,
That's
yeah, depending on where you are in Florida, probably, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You get up near the panhandle. Oof.
Jeez.
Anyway, not to,
Well,
I hope
anyways,
nobody's from the
yeah,
panhandle of
geez,
Florida.
geez, you kinda yeah, you
Yeah,
disrespect.
I called him out there. Sorry. so so you said as we were backstage before the show, you wanted to pick my brain a little bit about river smallies.
Yeah, man. So, you've spent a lot of time river smallmouth fishing, so, you know, I've seen I definitely know your confidence, like, zone. Like, I know, like, the type of stuff that you like to throw, obviously, and I'm very thankful that you like to throw mule jigs so much. And,
Yeah.
you're kind of a I would say definitely like a finesse or like, you're a finesse fisherman, but you can beef it up a little bit. Like you like to upsize the profile just a little bit, right? With going to like more the big TRD and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
you definitely dabble with some top, like some top waters and that sort of thing. But I guess for me, as I'm looking to try to find some of these like next level size smallmouth, what have been some of the big things for you outside of bait selection, in finding, locating, and landing some of your biggest smallmouth?
Um, Real estate, the best real estate. The bigger fish will always be in the best locations, and when I say that, you know what I mean. But if you're in kind of a long flat where there's not a whole lot of features, and then there's a couple of features like a couple of big rocks or a good uh, dip in the riverbed or whatnot, they tend to dominate those areas. That they'll pretty much chase a lot of other smallies out of there just so they can have the
So
best real
you
estate.
so you feel like when you find a big smallmouth, do you feel like you're finding them semi isolated, or are you catching a lot of fish around them too?
It For the most part, yes, they're isolated by themselves. I'll always, especially after getting a big fish, I will always cast back to the same place.
Yeah,
Um, but I've done, uh, and bearing in mind that I'm in the Mid Atlantic, I've
sure.
done four smallies that were 20-inch plus, and total ever.
Yeah.
That's a huge fish in the Mid Atlantic, and yeah, they were all by themselves. Now, last year I hooked into one in kind of a weird spot. So it doesn't really apply. Um, I cast upstream into an area that's, in fact, think I featured it in my last video. I just made a couple of quick casts into this area before I went over it and got into two smallies relatively easily. But it was in that area, and I hooked into it, and it immediately darted downstream.
Hmm.
And so it ran past me, and it had a couple of 14 to 16-inch smallies chasing it.
Okay.
So I mean, it was almost like it was a kind of a do no wrong type situation. If any one of those fish had bit, I would have been totally happy. But anyway, so the thing darts downstream. I've got tons of slack in my line. There's no way that I can keep up with it. And by the time it got taut again, and the drag started spitting for about a second, and pop, that was that. I was like, damn
Yeah.
it. But yeah, that's kind of a unique situation. I almost on huge fish, I almost never see followers.
Hmm.
Almost never. They tend to be isolated, and they take up a really good real estate, like ahead of a boulder, behind a boulder, deepest little cuts, little spaces between rocks, stuff like that. Um, that tends to be where the pigs lie.
Man, I would love to fish some of your waters. I tell you, those things like the rivers, certain stretches of river that you fish, just so beautiful. And just like the sheer quantity of fish. Clearly, they're just a very, very healthy ecosystem for where smallmouth really thrive. So, um,
And it's
definitely,
it,
definitely look forward to hopefully someday getting out there because it looks sick.
it is, especially considering that pretty much everything that you see on my channel is within the Potomac River watershed.
Hmm.
And 30 years ago, um, you wouldn't even want to touch Potomac water.
Hmm.
You'd want to wash your hands afterwards. It was gross, and they've done a really good job of cleaning that stuff up. And in fact, the Monocacy, my home river, that thing was given scenic river status about, I think it was about 20 years ago, because they thought that the fish populations were never going to recover from the pollution.
Wow.
And two of my 20s have come out of that river.
Yeah. Well, goes to show, I guess taking care of, trying to make efforts and taking care of our environment. Hopefully, it gives an opportunity to recover. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a lot of rivers out there that are probably not treated super well. I mean, quite honestly, I feel like some of the stuff that I fish, there's certain places in Michigan that I fish that it's like it's pretty pristine, it's well kept, it's
Hmm.
beautiful,
Right.
and the ecosystem reflects that. And there's certain ones that it's like, gets a little more pollution, not quite as well kept, and I feel like the populations aren't as good. And yeah, it's one of those deals. I mean, there's obviously a thousand things you can point to, but I don't know. I definitely like the pristine waters that are a little bit better kept.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, you were on vacation and did, I believe it was a two-parter in probably one of the clearest lakes I've ever seen.
Oh, sure.
Um, that was amazing, and the first episode of that, I was pretty much screaming at the TV, "Get on the Ned rig!" And once you did, you started hammering him, man.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy though. So that lake is super deep and super clear.
Yeah,
And I think I think it was timing to an extent too. I mean, I think the Ned rig certainly was a part of the success, and
sure.
a huge part of the success. Part of it was timing. I think I was up there for like three or 4 days. Made like a 3-part video. Um, but eventually, it was when the chop was blowing up into shallow rocks, and that's when the Ned rig really worked too. But
Yeah.
that lake is really deep and it has like a very distinct drop off location around like 15 to 20 foot, and then let alone other big
Oof.
drop offs elsewhere. I mean, I had my kayak in over 100 foot of water a few times. Um, just an incredible, beautiful lake. But I guess my point is like I believe there's a lot of different ways you can catch them in places like that, depending on the what the weather's doing, what time of year, so on and so forth.
Sure.
And I bet you Ned rig more often than not is probably not the play, because a lot of times those fish are likely going to set up a little bit, probably deeper than a
Yeah.
Ned rig is going to truly shine in,
Right.
unless you're fishing like a really heavy Ned rig, which you call it whatever you want. You can call it a heavy Ned rig, call it whatever, but I don't
Right.
necessarily consider it a Ned rig when you're rocking like a 3/8 ounce jig or a half ounce jig. But
I don't, and that's, yeah, that was actually something else that I wanted to talk to you about. I kind of find it hilarious that a company that makes one of the best soft plastics for Ned rig, Z-Man, um, they basically go down to 1/15 of an ounce on their jigs.
yeah, no, whatever.
Exactly. I'll use 1/15 if I need to get it a little deeper, and that's pretty much it. Uh, I actually that's not true. There's a um, there's a body of water. It's uh, it's an impoundment on the is that the North Fork or the North Branch? This is the North Fork of the Potomac River. It's called Jennings Randolph, and there's water in there that's 150 feet deep. Um, it houses largemouth, smallmouth, walleye, a lot of sunfish, and they stock it with trout at certain times of year. Um, that I will pop a 1/8 ounce jig head on either a finesse or a big TRD just to get it down a little quicker. Uh, and that tends to do pretty well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The Ned rig is not suitable for a lot of stuff. And one of the main reasons that people see me using it so much is that I tend to stick to smaller rivers that don't
Mhm.
have a whole lot of depth.
Sure.
So the slower the fall time, the better. The more time that a fish gets to have a look at that squirrely little bait, just kind of tweaking down, uh, you're likely to get hit. And most of the time, in my experience, especially on rivers, um, the hits usually come within 5 seconds of the cast.
Yeah, I tend to
Usually,
agree. Yeah, I mean, and these days I do a ton of ultralight fishing, and very, very similar, quite honestly. And whether you're talking just Ned rig for bass or ultralight for other species as well, I
right,
would say the same principles apply. It's like the original fall is usually when bites occur, um, and that crosses over several species. And
sure,
it's the slower you can get that fall to be, generally speaking, the better. And that's where mule. It's like, with an ultralight perspective, it's like getting down to that 164th, even the 180th at times, and then rocking a high buoyancy plastic. It's like it can be challenging to cast for people that don't necessarily do a lot of fishing,
sure,
but the people that can kind of dial that in and understand how to properly operate an ultralight, man, I I think they'll most of them will tell you that it is a look that the fish don't see very often, and it
right,
leads to significantly more bites. And you're not sacrificing quality; you just get more quantity, and you're going to
right.
catch that quality with it. So, same principle applies to bass, and that's really how mule was kind of
Uh,
great for bass fishing, and then taking those and applying them broader scale to multi-species fishermen that weren't necessarily being catered to. We live in a world now where fishing industry is just so focused on making like super technique specific stuff, and I find it a little silly.
yeah, I do too. Um, and in fact, let me go back to. Oops, I don't have that open. Barry screws up again. Let's see. Fishing. All right. Mule fishing. Don't share the audio. Boom. And no. Nice try. There we go. Okay. So, these guys, your donkey tails,
Hmm.
um, awesome on the jigs themselves. I also find them to be killer trailers at
What do you put
times.
them on? What do you use them as a trailer on?
Uh, typically, uh, about quarter inch, like fully dressed jigs.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's I've had a lot of people actually comment that, and I need to do more. I need to do more experimenting with like little finesse jigs with the donkey tail, because I do fish the. Actually, I think I have one right here.
By the way, that right there is my first super chat. Thank you, Valerie. We were testing that out. By the way, you know, the super chat thing is now a thing. I think we may have lost Ethan. Yep. All right, we've lost Ethan for the moment. There he is.
That was weird. Said I lost you.
Yeah, actually, a couple of minutes ago, you I guess got Comcasted or whatever for about, I don't know, about 10 seconds or so. But Yeah, you seem up and good now.
Well, that's weird, but I don't know what I was saying.
Okay, you were reaching back. You got one right here.
Yeah, it's the Kitech. I use a little Kitech mono spin jig with my burrow bug, but I've had a lot of people tell me in the comments of my videos that they like to rock the donkey tail on a similar setup. So,
Okay.
like a Strike
Can you
King,
can you show
it's
that one again?
yeah, I don't have like super high res
Oh, okay.
video.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's
It's real
good.
tiny.
I get it. Nice.
Yeah, so it's a great little setup for finesse bass fishing. Let alone the fact that you can catch other species on it as well.
Right. Um, and then the other thing that I haven't done it yet, but I imagine that the mule minnow will do pretty well in similar situation. Like even you might even want to try that, maybe even with the smaller version. What is it? You got 3.2 and 2.2 and 1.2. I don't know. I think if you trail that with what you just held up, I,
Oh yeah,
it
you have to play
should
around with
work
it.
pretty well.
Yeah, I'm so accustomed to using crawfish or creature style baits on the back of like skirted jigs.
Right.
I don't always think to throw like a swim bait style profile or a minnow style profile on them, but that's totally irrational. I should definitely get that out there and try it. And like I said, I've heard a lot of people tell me that they do well on it. The Strike
Yeah.
King Bitsy jig, I think, is one that's quite popular.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The Bitsy absolutely rocks for that stuff. In fact, that's exactly what I do, and it's a beautiful thing because um, the prices of mule fishing products are awesome. The those Bitsies are cheap. I think you get them for what, $2 at Walmart. Um, and they're good. They hold up. They don't rust out. That's good stuff. Um, all right. All right. What else do we have? You want to watch that video? Uh oh. There he goes again. Donkey tail for small chatterbaits and micro spinnerbaits. Yes, absolutely. I fully agree. Gonna go through some of this stuff. There he is.
I don't know what's happening. I don't think I have bad internet. I've never had
Yeah.
I've never had issues. I have like a Wi-Fi extender.
I'm always I stream from something that is actually plugged in. So yeah, this
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been on this EV Mux thing before, but yeah, I don't know. This is odd. I've never had issues.
could be, well, it's, of course we're doing what we're doing, so everything's got to misbehave. But we're doing anyway. Yeah, no, okay. All right. How'd you feel about watching that kayak rescue? We're about 45 minutes deep right now, so we can watch that and have some closing remarks.
That sounds great.
All right, cool.
Sorry about the issues.
No, it's all right, man. The open on that. All right, let me set this up a little bit. Let me. It is a little bit of a loud video, just by nature because it's massive waterfalls. Um, but yeah, these guys are in Mexico and had a pretty substantial issue out there. The best way to do this, I think that's probably the best way to do it. All right, let's go. And bear in mind, folks, obviously this is stuff that Ethan and I and most of you will never ever do.
That's how I get to all my fishing holes.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just
That's
I send
that's
Jolene right down a waterfall.
that's the part that you leave out of the videos because you want to keep your honey holes private, right?
Yeah, yeah. Keep the honey holes private and set a good example. I don't need to be showing kids
That's
that
right.
they do this to catch fish.
That was my house. Tree spot, that was the big one. The one you just did, I got so fired up.
See, that to me looks insane because that's a pair of waterfalls. And you better be on the ball when you go over the first one.
I don't even know how. When do you just decide, like, yeah, I want to send myself down that in a kayak, let alone two of them? I don't. This is just so foreign to me.
Right.
Oh, he's gonna go down his back.
Yes! Perfect. Oh my god. Yeah, baby! Woo! Full plug, yeah.
Yeah, look at this. And one of the cool things about this video is they have so many kids. Everybody's got a camera. And so you get every perspective of it.
This is fast. I don't know.
Whoa, shit!
So as you all can see, he is behind the curtain. And that's not a good place to be.
Okay. I'm not dead.
How did they really get back there? They have like a walkie-talkie or something?
So this is one of his buddies going in to take a look to see if he can find it behind the curtain.
How do they know he's back there?
They don't. They didn't see a kayak float, so he's got to be somewhere. And they're, they were watching. They had a guy up on the cliff that they would have seen the kayak float if if he wasn't behind the curtain. So I think that's they know he's either back there or that he's dead. Either one. So this is, this is one of the guys trying to find his friend, but he knows damn well that if he steps even a foot too deep into that, he can be dragged into the undertow and could absolutely kill him. But I think no, I don't think he's there yet. They're gonna start a rope system pretty soon, I think. Live bait is the rope system. That's what they call it. That can't be very encouraging when the handholds that you're holding are crumbling apart. Did you see that with the rocks?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Over here! Woo! 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 Go!
Tyler, you are not kidding. This is a great group of friends.
These guys are literally asking. I'm coming. This is totally again foreign to me. These guys are asking to die. I'm just like, this is stupidity. Like, why? I mean, the whole like what, and the fact that they're filming the entire thing is very weird to me. Why do they have footage if it's time elapsed over an hour? These people had to swap their batteries. Like, something seems very weird about this. Again, I'm happy to, from my assumption is that everyone made it out alive, but just an odd situation, and odd that it turned into a video.
What did you see? What was the last time that they showed?
It was like an hour and 7 minutes or something.
Hour and 7. Well, that's
My point is
possible with
like, these
GoPro.
guys are all rocking all these cameras, and I guess at the end of the day, it's like you run your cameras, and maybe they have crazy duration on their cameras, but like, you should tell the story, and you should hopefully provide an example to people not to do something like this. But it's just interesting, curious.
Yeah.
Seems very weird.
Right. And you're right on the battery. They all did a battery swap. There's no question about that, because they have to be running GoPros. At the time that this video was made, there wasn't any other camera that was really capable of doing this stuff. And plus, there's a little bit of fisheye in the footage.
Whether it's a GoPro or not, I mean, again, it's like I can't help but think that way. It's like,
Right.
I guess it just feels like, I mean, I've just filmed enough videos to know it's like, you're talking about an hour. I mean, unless they're intentionally, okay, well, I better stop recording and turn off my camera to save battery. It's like, you would not be thinking about that if you think your friend might be dead. Like, so like, they're just rolling a camera for over an hour. I mean, it just feels I can't help but think that way, because it's like I make videos. So like seeing it's just very, very strange to me that they've been capturing this whole thing on video. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, he's down there. We better make sure we get all this on footage so we can make a video.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you very well could be filming your friend's death.
Yeah, it just feels strange that they have it all on camera to share, but.
Right. there are external packs that are waterproof, and it's entirely possible that they're using those too. Just to show his comment there.
Fuck, we thought you were fucking dead, man. We could not get you to the other side. We tried the other side for like 30 minutes. Dude, luckily we were like, we gotta get out of here in 30 minutes. When we get out of here, I'm exhausted. Literally on the way back, I just saw this little undercut right here. I was like, I don't know what the heck it is.
We get out of here, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. Not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, I didn't know though. I saw that it looked like it might. It looks better. I was able to escape and I knew you guys were going to accomplish it good. Hey, get this rope. We'll make it on fly bait. I'm on fly bait. I need you to come straight through here. Yeah. Big eddy right here, and then just stay close to the bomb. And we got a rope set up already. Alright. Oh, Kyle, say hello to those guys. Yeah! Oh my god, bro.
I think I'm gonna stick to fishing, dude.
Right now, holy fuck.
Alright, so is he gonna send it down to the next waterfall?
Yeah, that stuff is insane, man. That is absolutely insane. That's
Yeah,
one of the
like
most.
you see on Netflix, one of these videos of people doing like the free climbing and just all these extreme sports. I don't know. Some people they need the adrenaline rush, I guess, but
Yeah.
not for me. I don't.
Yeah.
I've got enough to live for outside of trying to chase a high like that.
Well, I mean, especially now. Last couple of years of your life have been pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, man. Wow, it's that's definitely that's definitely a part of it. But even before being a father, I can tell you that I don't need to chase that high like that. I'm happy with catching a fish, man. That's a good enough high for me.
Awesome. All right, I know you are limited on time. We're at an hour 7, and you need to go to bed.
Well, I'll probably do, but if there's any other like hot topics, I'm happy to push it through for a few more minutes.
No, I think we're good. Again, folks, remember, put a comment in. There's giveaways. There's that. I'll be doing the drawing next week. It will include both the comments from the chat here and the comments section of the replay of the video. So make sure to comment. All you have to do to be eligible is live in the United States and be subscribed to my channel. And that's pretty much
Congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Well earned. Just keep up the good work. I love the smallmouth fishing you're doing, and obviously you seem to know your way around a kayak too, and consuming those crazy videos content too probably makes you pretty agile out there on the water. You'd probably be doing circles around me if we fish together.
Well, there are, and Valerie can absolutely attest to this. There are areas of the Potomac watershed that are pretty dicey.
Yeah.
We thank you, Indiana Ultralight. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've had a couple of issues out there, and in fact, I haven't shown it yet, but I I tipped my freaking kayak for the first time in about 3 years the
Oh,
other
wow.
day. Well, not the other day. It was a couple of weeks ago. I've got video of it. I don't know how I'm going to edit it because I was totally mad at myself when I was cursing like a sailor. Um,
Just
yeah,
make beeps.
there you go. Right. Just
That's
put
probably
a
what I would
tune
do.
to it
Or
and
just
leave the
you can
audio out.
always just mute it for a second.
Right.
Yeah. Did you break a rod or anything? Or are you good?
No, actually, what happened was I was very freaking stupid. Um, I roll with 4 rods, and they're all at an angle. They're not straight up. I would never store the rods straight up in a river, so they're all angled. But yeah, one of them caught a tree, and I was more focused on that than the river ahead of me, and
So you
boom.
didn't. So you fell in, but you didn't break a rod in the process.
No, no, man, I use good gear, man.
Hey, good for you. I mean, I feel like that's where. Yeah. So the kayak didn't flip. Then you just fell off of it.
No, the kayak flipped. Well, it semi-flipped. It went 90 degrees, and I went in and stopped it from going the rest of the way. So fortunately, the electronics didn't get wet or anything like that. I was pretty happy that I was able to keep that from happening. But yeah, I was pretty pissed, and I was just pissed at myself because I knew immediately.
Well,
But for my
the
own
good news
actions,
is
it wouldn't have happened. Right.
the good news is if you're gonna fall in the river, I would say the time that I would want to fall in the river is the middle of summer. So you did it
Absolutely.
at the right time.
I did. You didn't happen to see my when I got stuck on the Perception Outlaw on a lake late last season, did you?
On a lake? I don't know that I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The water was I had to bail from the kayak in order to get it freed up. And the water was 55.
What happened? How'd you get water in the kayak?
I didn't get water in the kayak. The kayak got jammed up on old tree stump.
An old what? Tree stump?
Tree stump. Yeah. I was I was trolling motoring through there like a madman, and it got so up on that stump that I could not move it no matter what I did. So I knew at one point after about 5 minutes I was like, well, the only way that I'm going to free this thing up is to remove my weight from the kayak. And so I deployed, jumped into 55 degrees, and did some pretty severe hypothermia on the way back to the ramp.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, it was bad. It was
Gotta
bad. I had never done anything like that. Valerie's in the video actually on the phone because I was telling her what I was doing, just in case things went sideways.
Jeez Louise, man, you gotta be careful. But it is a good point. I mean, ultimately, maybe it's not that last kayak video you showed, but you do have to always put safety first on the water.
Absolutely.
Whether you're in a big bass boat or a big fishing kayak, a raft,
Right.
whatever it is,
Right.
you should always put safety first. Always wear a life jacket and make sure you tell people where you're at and what you're planning to do.
You bet.
And really try to, I mean, you have to get experience too. Like, I think a lot of times people I don't know, ask, sometimes people in the comments of videos like to get after certain things, but experience is definitely something that I have on the water. I mean, I've been in a kayak probably more than, a lot of people, right? I've owned 9 kayaks. I've spent a ton of time on the water, and
Right.
I'm not going to say that experience will save you from mistakes, but it will help certainly. So get out there and practice a lot and put safety first, and don't don't bite off more than you can chew. I think fishing and kayaking is like, we've made this sport. It is actually a topic no one talks about. So I'm actually glad we're going down this route. Kayak fishing has become so popular, and it's great. But now it's so popular that people just like, they see people doing it on YouTube and stuff, and they just think, well, I can do this too.
Right.
Well, yeah, you can, but don't go out there, buy a new kayak, drop 5 rods in it, 50 pounds of tackle, and go out there and try to hit your local river when you have 0 paddling experience.
Right, and then try to stand up on the thing like you're
Oh my
watching a
gosh.
YouTube video, right?
Ease into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that first trip, you probably shouldn't even bring fishing gear. And if you do, bring a little bit. And then that
Bingo.
second trip, build it up. And over time, as you get more experience, then you can do what you feel you can do. But it is interesting because like kayak fishing has blown up, and I feel like people are rightfully going towards it and steering towards it, but they don't have very much paddling experience. So sometimes they're probably, I don't know, just need to be mindful of it, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with
Yeah.
that, folks, I think we're gonna wrap this up. We gotta let Mr. Ethan go to bed here. Ethan, oh boy, hold on, I just went dark here. Oh, there we go. Jeez, both my monitors just
It's just one of those days, man.
yeah.
Just one of those days.
All right. Hey, man, thank you so much for doing this, and we should definitely do this again. If we discuss topics and whatnot,
Yeah, man.
and get on that stuff.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Keep doing it, and
Thank you.
I'd happily jump on again in the future, and we'll give them round 2. But I appreciate you having me on, and again, thanks for all the support with Mule, and keep up the good work. One of these days, I'm going to catch a 20-inch smallmouth, and I have a feeling some of your help and tips along the way will put me in that position. So,
well, ideally I would be there when it happens, but that's probably not going to happen. But yeah,
hey, that would be great. But I hope that it does. How about you come out next week, because that's when I want to
right.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah,
from
exactly. And you're pretty well. I don't know exactly. I have an idea what river you're fishing. I'm not going to ask. I have an idea what river you're fishing, but I think you've got a pretty good chance of pulling it off. Particularly as the water cools a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get it done. I don't talk about specific locations solely because, well, confidentiality. I also want people to privacy, but I also want people. I don't think it's necessary. I just don't think. I think we don't necessarily need to talk about exact spots and social media fishing.
We don't, and that's the interesting thing, and it's something that I get quite a bit in the comments. Well, it's kind of meaningful region wise, and no, it's not. You live in Michigan. I live in Maryland. We can use the exact same topic, the exact same tackle, and achieve the exact same results. It's not really region specific, it's fish specific.
Yeah, and I mean, if people know the area, they'll see it. But I don't know.
Right.
I don't need. It's just a fine. It's a fine line, I think, in today's age of social media. It's like I think you have to ultimately respect the fisheries, and
yes,
and you have to respect the game too. Like, if you want to learn how to catch fish, it's not about jumping. It's not about finding locations from someone and going and catching fish. It's about the pursuit. It's about going out there and trying things and failing,
right,
and then also succeeding. And that's a true fisherman to me. Doesn't ask for spots at all. A true fisherman to me loves the hunt of finding the spots for themselves, because that's where they get their high. They love to just go out there and teach themselves and learn from their own mistakes. And that's what I like. And so I just don't think it's necessary to share specific locations. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy to chat with people on a one-off basis about stuff. But it's just, I don't need to broadcast it necessarily. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. With that,
guys,
my friend,
thank you.
Yeah, I thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the congrats. And in a closing remark, my channel wouldn't be where it is without you. I don't know whether you know that or not, but you got me onto the Ned rig, and then you created a company that I consider to be the best for especially for Ned jigs. And I feel like I have an advantage every time I'm on the water over everybody else because I have every bit of confidence in the stuff that you've produced. You've given me the tools to get where this channel has gotten, and I truly appreciate it, brother.
That was super nice of you, man. But I'm not going to take that credit by any means. I think hard work pays off, and you put in the hard work, and I trust you're going to continue to grow and continue to kick butt, man. So as much as I appreciate it, it's on you.
I appreciate it, man. All right, folks. Thanks again. Don't forget about the giveaways. Everybody in the chat will be counted, and everybody in the comments will be. And I'll do that a week from now. So Tuesday, what's that going to be? 29th. So do the giveaway then. Once again, Ethan, thank you so much for showing up. Thanks for being here. And actually, yeah, let's exchange info and Facebook and keep a little closer tabs on each other, man.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, brother. Love you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.